Man, I've been trying to memorize those German adjectives for years now. I just can't remember them. Those adjective declensions might just be too hard, right?
Wrong. Actually, German adjective declensions are not hard at all. German adjective declensions are not hard at all. There's just some simple tricks you have to keep in mind. The first problem is that you're dealing with 5 different declension tables. Now, on top of that, you also have 3 variables that you have to account for. The most important part is masculine, feminine, neutral, and plural articles. You have to know what article the nouns use. The second variable is, of course, which case you're using. Nominative, accusative, or dative. And then the third variable is the article itself. We have definite articles, indefinite articles, negative articles, possessive articles, and then we have no article declensions. Now I'm going to show you all 5 declension tables. The first table is for definite articles. So you have the masculine der, the feminine die, the neutral das, and of course the plural article die. As for the examples I'm using, I chose der neue Kuli, die neue Lampe, das neue Haus, die neuen Kulis. So it's very simple. It's the new pen, the new lamp, the new house, and the new pens for the plural. So here's the declension table, and I'm just going to read it for you. Der neue Kuli, die neue Lampe, das neue Haus, die neuen Kulis, den neuen Kuli, die neue Lampe, das neue Haus, die neuen Kulis, dem neuen Kuli, der neuen Lampe, dem neuen Haus, den neuen Kulis. Now, as you can see, there's only 2 kinds of declensions for definite articles. There's only a and en. And you can easily see that there's a pattern. From nominative to dative, the number of en endings increases. So for the nominative part, we have der neue Kuli, die neue Lampe, das neue Haus, and then only for the plural, we have an en declension. For the accusative, we have an en declension for the masculine article, den, and then, of course, the plural en declension. And dative, that's the simplest part of all. That's just en. It's all en declensions. So in that case, dative is actually the most simple one, which is good news because usually dative is the most troublesome one. Now the second declension table is indefinite articles. So it's ein Kuli, eine Lampe, ein Haus, and there's no plural article for indefinite articles. Now I'm first going to read it for you, and then we'll see what kind of pattern we have here. Ein neuer Kuli, eine neue Lampe, ein neues Haus, neue Kulis, einen neuen Kuli, eine neue Lampe, ein neues Haus, neue Kulis, einem neuen Kuli, einer neuen Lampe, einem neuen Haus, neuen Kulis. Now in this case we have a bit more trouble because we do not have a and en declensions only. No, we have many different declensions. I like to think of these declensions as follows. Now, since we do not have der, die, das, die, now we have the indefinite articles, and this definite article der, die, das, and die re-emerges in the adjective declensions. So you can see it's ein neuer Kuli, der, neuer, so the masculine article er re-emerges, and then you have die Lampe, eine neue Lampe, die eine, ein neues Haus, das neues Haus, and of course neue Kulis, die neue, and that's a plural article again. Now the next declension table is negative articles. It's almost the same as indefinite articles with one exception. That's the plural part, because negative articles have a plural article. And that means you have an en declension for nominative plural. So let's take a look at this table. Kein neuer Kuli, keine neue Lampe, kein neues Haus, keine neuen Kulis, keinen neuen Kuli, keine neue Lampe, kein neues Haus, keine neuen Kulis. Dativ Cembut, also en, keinem neuen Kuli, keiner neuen Lampe, keinem neuen Haus, keinen neuen Kulis. Right, so basically it's not that hard because the singular part, like der, die, das, is the exact same thing as the indefinite article declensions. But for the plural part, you have en for nominative, accusative, and dative. Why is that? It's because you have a plural article. When there's an article, you add an n to the declension. So basically, it's very easy. If you look at the table, you have like the dative is en. And of course, the plural articles are all an. So basically, if you would just guess an, it would be pretty much on the safe side. So you have an abundance of an declensions, which is good news. Now you like the next one because we're dealing with possessive articles, and the possessive article adjective declensions are exactly the same as negative article declensions. So what I'm going to do for the next example is I'm just going to exchange kein with mine. So basically, K just turns into M, and the declensions just stay the way they were for the negative articles. So let's take a look. Mein neuer Kuli. Meine neue Lampe. Mein neues Haus. Meine neuen Kulis. Meinen neuen Kuli. Meine neue Lampe. Mein neues Haus. Meinen neuen Kulis. Meinem neuen Kuli. Meiner neuen Lampe. Meinem neuen Haus. Meinen neuen Kulis. Now, as you can see, this was very easy, so it's always good to kind of think of negative article declensions and possessive article declensions as one and the same thing. So that's basically a no-brainer. If you know one, you know the other. Now, the last declension table I want to show you is the typical irregular German situation, because for every rule there's an exception, and as we already know, in German grammar there's always exceptions. And for adjective declensions, this exception is adjective declensions with no article. Now, what does it mean? Well, you can think of it like this: because articles are so important in German, we cannot really have no article. In this case, the adjective becomes the article, so it kind of replaces the article. And you'll see this if you have der Kuli, neuer Kuli, die Lampe, neue Lampe, das Haus, neues Haus, and so on. So let me just show you this last declension table then. Neuer Kuli, neue Lampe, neues Haus, neue Kulis, neuen Kuli, neue Lampe, neues Haus, neue Kulis, neuem Kuli, neuer Lampe, neuem Haus, neuen Kulis. Alright, so that was it. That's all the 5 declension tables you need to be able to use adjective declensions in German. It's not that hard actually. If you keep in mind, you need those 5 tables, and of course, the most common declension is en. Yes. If you're not sure which one it is, just go with en. Germans will understand what you're saying anyway. It doesn't matter if the declension is right, because it's just a technicality. As you know, German loves details, and Germans love details. These tiny little details are so important that it doesn't even matter if you get them wrong. But be sure to get them right when you take a German exam, especially when it's an exam about adjective declensions. Alright? Okay, so you have these 5 declension tables, memorize them slowly, and of course always know your articles, because articles in German are king. Yes, so that's German adjective declensions, and German adjective declensions are not hard at all.